Hi everyone, what you see is what we're making today. Egg roll in a bowl. Why have all that messy casing and have to order from the Chinese restaurant? We're going to make it ourselves. It's pretty good too. This is definitely a great side dish for when you want something a little different. Okay, what are we going to need? Well, first up, 2 pounds of ground pork, bag of coleslaw mix, some green onions, and some teriyaki sauce to bring it all together. Now we're going to make our homemade teriyaki sauce. It's good, not hard to do, and I think you'll like the taste when it all comes together. Alright, let's make our sauce before we get on the stove. 1 small pan, and to that we're going to put half a cup of soy sauce. Just like that. Next up is mirin. If you don't know what it is, that's fine. I didn't either. Rice wine vinegar will do the trick, and that's 3 tablespoons. 1 good teaspoon of sesame oil, followed by 1 big teaspoon of minced garlic. Ginger, 1.5 teaspoons. Then we're just going to mix all that around, kind of get the ginger dissolved. Okay, next up is my Buddy Al's honey, yummy. 1 good tablespoon of honey, just to give it some sweetness. But that's not all. We're also going to throw in roughly 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So this, this is going to be sweet, and that's going to go well with everything else we're throwing in. And the last thing is 1/4 cup of water mixed with 3 teaspoons of cornstarch. That's going to thicken her up once we get it on the stove. So that's all mixed together. Let's put it on the stove. We're going to mix somewhat continuously till this comes up to a boil, and it'll start thickening at that point. Then we can take it off. But in the meantime, we're going to work on that ground pork. This is 1 pound of ground pork, and we're just going to keep cooking it while we're keeping an eye on our sauce, which came up to a boil. Look how nice and thick that is. And we're going to continue cooking our ground pork till it gets nice and brown and cooked, because that's important. This isn't going in the oven or anything, so you want to make sure that it's cooked completely, so it looks something like that. And I have put nothing in it. Well, let's build our egg roll in a bowl. Well, actually a tin. So I'm going to try and make sure that there's no juice going in, or very little. So I'm just going to carefully get it out of the frying pan. Tilt the frying pan away so the liquid, you can see at the bottom there, kind of goes away from what I'm trying to get out and into the pan. So that's our bottom layer. You can see it's still a little steamy. That's kind of cool. It doesn't have to be perfect here, because we're going to mix it. I'm just checking right now to make sure there's no big chunks that I kind of missed. In goes our bag of coleslaw. And then as I'm mixing it, I'm thinking, oh, it's nice and skinny in that, but I had to pick out a couple big pieces of cabbage. They weren't just little ones I could have gotten away with. Our coleslaw and ground pork are all done. Next up, the sauce we made. And we're just going to pour it over the top. And it doesn't look like much, but once we mix it all together, it's going to look a lot like an egg roll. Oh, there, just like that. This is not hard once you get all the prep work done. Green onions are next. So I've chopped the ends off, and I'm just going to chop them all down into nice sized pieces. Because Chinese food has a lot of green onions in it, which are pretty cool. So now we're just going to put them into our egg roll bowl. go. One more mix. Mix, 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 mix. Get those onions all combined with everything else. A little salt and pepper if you want. But that's all there is to it. Now check that out. There it is in a bowl. Doesn't that look good? Egg roll in a bowl. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this and any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.